Okay. Hi everyone, I'm back with a video. I don't even know if I'm honestly framing this right. I am finally back with a new video. I really don't count any of my hair videos that I've been doing. I know people were concerned that I was uploading too many hair videos, but I don't really feel sorry for that because like that's the choice that I made to do. I had to be healing in the meantime. I had to be like focusing more so on myself, and I still had content to post, and that was the content that I was able to have the energy, the last bit of energy for me to post. So I did that, and I did that for the past few months since I moved to Texas. This was like what, back in October? But I really want to touch on like my journey as far as me finally focusing on myself, loving myself, and also being more confident in myself and being emotionally available to myself. So this is just like a whole process. It's a whole journey that I'm going on. I've learned that I really can't go back to how things were and how comfortable things were, like I would say before September. Honestly, I would say like around my birthday and around like last January, not this past January, but the January before that, back in 2021, everything changed. So life was no longer just comfortable for me. It was actually really, really exciting for a short period of time. And I went through this experience where, like with someone, but I went through this experience where it really, really changed me as a person. I would say for the better. I would say that experience honestly did change me for the better. I'm still in the process of healing myself, but it's weird. Like I have these moments of where I feel really, really good, in the moments where I'm like, okay, am I feeling okay still? Like, what am I doing? Where am I? So it's like more of me being in this space, like this limbo space. But oh my gosh, I would say anywhere between September and January. Yeah. September of 2021 to January 2022. Those few months were like the longest months of my life. It felt like someone had died. I was dealing with abandonment issues. I was dealing with letting go and releasing of codependency issues, stuff that I didn't even realize I had an issue with until that point in time. And so it really woke me up. Like it really made me question myself and question who I was. I wasn't even liking the same things anymore. I honestly still am finding out what I like again on social media, and like where my career or where my social media career is going to go from here on out, because I don't really have the same interest anymore. I don't really have as much fun, I don't know, like showing what I bought, giving you guys outfit photos. Like I'd rather just kind of take pictures of like a fun experience and like post it on my Instagram. But like I've definitely been very active on Instagram this whole time. So if y'all are following me on Instagram, Timaloveslemons, I'm always active. I haven't really stopped posting since ever. But YouTube I had to take a break from because it's where I really talk about things. It's where I really open up about things, about my life. And looking back, I really can't watch my old videos, and I can't really relate to those now. I wouldn't be able to. I don't even know if I'm going to be honestly really editing this video very much. I'm not really sure. But what really kind of shocked my system was that like whatever I was doing before, and whatever that was before, like before September, before my birthday, like not this year, but this past year, I can't go back to that. It can no longer exist. And I think that version of myself that was, willing to overgive and not receive was that version of me that I didn't realize I had all my life until that moment. Like all of those things were mirrored back to me that I was finally able to process and like see, like kind of just look at myself and be like, wow, you have way more to work on than you ever thought that you did. I was so comfortable. I didn't realize I was so comfortable for like all of the years of my life. I was willing to just kind of sit inside and not really experience, not really do things for myself and on my own. Like I've never really been just alone before and been okay with that. Like there was a period back in college where I wasn't with anyone, right? But like, I still had very low self-esteem. I wasn't working towards confidence. I wasn't willing to like try new things or like, have adventures and experience life. I was more so also in a very comfortable state. So, that's how I kind of spent my whole life in a way. And like now I'm like, okay, well, now that I'm really alone, like with myself, finally, I have to remind myself that I'm safe, and I have to remind myself that like other people's actions or what other people want to do can no longer affect me from here on out. It doesn't matter who the person is. Like, that's what I've learned way later in life. And I know other people are honestly probably going through the same thing. Doesn't matter what age. I just turned 30, and I got a lot of my experiences super, super late. I mean, in comparison to other people, there's not really a timeline on that. I think everyone obviously has their own timeline, but for mine, everything happened way later, and that's also fine. All of those months, like September through January, I never left my bed. I remember like one of the scariest things is that like I just couldn't sleep without taking melatonin. Like I couldn't have like a deep sleep, and I remember I wasn't able to eat anything. I wasn't hungry. Like even my favorite foods I couldn't eat. I couldn't stomach it down. Like I just didn't have an appetite. And this happened even before that situation, and it's weird. It's like, was my body preparing itself for that? I don't even know. But like before that experience, I was also having those same type of weird symptoms, and then then that shock kind of happened, and this is probably not making any sense, but maybe you guys can piece it together yourselves. When that shock kind of happened to my system, where I was faced with my abandonment issues, I couldn't really do much. I was just in shock. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't eat anything. I couldn't really sleep. I had to take a bunch of melatonin, not like all at once, but like I was dependent on it for a while, and I just really wasn't at peace. But I mean, was I really ever at peace? Because, I spent my whole life just trying to please people and trying to, again, overgive, not receive. I did like a life coaching or a light coaching session with Michelle Moore. I'll put her information down below. And like, we had this conversation, and like, she asked what was like the biggest form of betrayal that I've done to myself. And I answered almost immediately, and I said, I've been emotionally unavailable to myself. And I said it back to myself. I just really started crying, because I was like, I can't believe I've done this my whole life. I've had this block to myself. I've always had that attitude, like, okay, forget about me, let me take care of someone else. And for the first time of me actually, really, really, really having strong feelings for someone, and this is really personal, of course. You guys have no idea what happened like with the situation. I never put it online, but this is very recent. But that really triggered my emotions to like really want to give, really want to help heal someone and really give to them. And I wanted to do that. Like I felt like that was something that I really wanted to do unconditionally. But I don't know, it didn't feel right, because me wanting to give to someone, first of all, it should be reciprocal, right? And then second of all, I should be whole with myself. I should always be able to come back to myself and not abandon me just to help someone else, but that's not kind of how I operate. I operate differently. And for those of you guys that can relate, I think this kind of just stems from like what childhood wounds, and I didn't realize I even had those, like, relating to that at least. So it was just a crazy experience, something that I'm still really just trying to work through. I feel like I'm really breaking through as far as like getting to that point where I am just focused on myself. I really have no interest in trying to latch on to someone else right now. And it's funny, because after that situation, I really tried to latch on to other people, and every single time I was met with someone who was emotionally unavailable, and it just kept happening over and over and over again with all these connections. And it made me realize, like, I'm never going to find, it really mirrored back to me, like, again, how I'm still not emotionally available to myself yet. And until I get to that point, until I'm whole with myself, until I can get to the point where I'm not codependent on others and, other people's feelings about me, like if I'm dependent on that, you know, to find my own happiness. I'm never going to find someone that will treat me the way I'm supposed to be treated or the way that I want to be treated, right? And so I opened my eyes to that. It really woke me up. Just, I shouldn't really be trying to connect with people in that way. Honestly, the approach that I'm trying to take right now with people in general is just to take things slow, strictly as friends, because it's interesting, right? Like, we're in this culture, or this dating culture, where, you know, when you see that person, you're not really seeing them as a friend first. And I'm not saying this is everyone, but this is a lot of people with the dating culture right now, right? Seeing them in a way solely to date them, solely to, you know, maybe be in a committed relationship with them, right? You're not actually trying to get to know that person, learn that person as a person. And I think that in a lot of cases, especially, I would say, masculine people, this has nothing to do with like gender, but just someone's energy. I feel like when that happens, there tends to be like less care. You know, like there's a lot less care when you're not friends with that person first. Not even just being friends, but really learning that person. Because you can say that you're someone's friend first, but you really haven't learned that person in the way where you would really cherish that connection. So if you're doing things that are deceptive, or if you're doing things that like are that would honestly hurt that person, it's like, are you really treating the relationship with care? Are you really treating that person with care? Are you treating yourself with care? Because if you did, you probably wouldn't be doing any of those things. And like, what I'm looking out for now is just, you know, unhealed people. And this is also with friendships as well, because it can have this like a similar effect, right? You want to come across people that are, you know, either trying to heal or aren't in a damaged state that's going to kind of trigger you or bring you down in a way. So like, things like that. It's just opened my eyes to so much recently. But, you know, looking back to how I was kind of acting before, I think it was really immature when, like, my perception of relationships, what a partnership is supposed to be. Because I really didn't have that much experience, to be honest. Like, I haven't been in many relationships. I've only been in one serious relationship that lasted a long time, and that's it. Like, I don't have experience. So me entering the dating scene, after you guys saw my last relationship on YouTube, I'm still friends with Kevin, by the way, he's amazing. But after that, I started, you know, that was when I was really put into the real world and really felt a different type of connection for the first time in my life. And like, that really just changed me. And I think that, you know, I'm glad that I went through that, because like, I don't even know how I was going through life like that. If I would have continued that way, you know, things would have been probably fine, but the growth just wouldn't have happened at all. Like, at all. I'm still in the process of it, but I really needed to take some time off from making YouTube videos, because I just really wasn't in the state too. I wasn't happy. Even today, I was like dragging my feet, because I didn't really know how to talk about this or how to really say much about what I've been going through. Would I call it depression? I would think that those are depression symptoms, yeah, for sure. Like, during that time, I definitely was. Like, I was crying every single day. I couldn't get out of bed. I wasn't looking forward to anything. Like, I literally had nothing to look forward to. I didn't know what I was gonna do. Like, I knew that I had to find a job. I knew that I had to find my own apartment, which I'm living in now, which is great. It took me like a few months to do that, but I didn't know where to start, because I was just in my head about everything, and I was feeling very, very low about myself. I realized that like, I really just abandoned myself for another person who, you know, honestly really wasn't interested, you know, and like, that's fine. But I think I didn't realize that I always looked for people that weren't really emotionally there. I don't want to, for those of you guys that are going through the same thing, you shouldn't feel dumb for having that mindset, because that happens to everyone. Something has to wake you up. You have to go through an experience a lot of the times to be able to, you know, have the knowledge of like why that's not okay. You don't really know until you're in it. That's the thing. You know? So for me now, like, my perspective is that like, I really want someone to come forth that's going to come correct, and like in the future, having that codependent dynamic is not something that I'm looking for. I'm not looking for someone to come in to like love bomb me or, you know, have this like really short term experience where it like triggers me into, you know, really getting close to a person too fast and then things not work out. Like that happens so often with people. And I think especially now people feel pressured to be in relationships and to, you know, have kids and to have a family because of what they see. People that see their family and their friends, you know, having kids and getting a home and doing all those things, when in reality they want those material things. And obviously a child isn't material, but I mean, when you're not viewing it in a way of something that you actually really, really want with a person, and it's just a goal that you kind of want to attain, you really have to ask yourself, is that worth it? Because you're putting someone else in the mix of that, and you know, that person's going to get hurt if they really want it and you're just kind of in it just because you want to hit these goals. And I think a lot of us are kind of programmed to think that way. I have the mindset now where like, if I don't find that person that I want to spend the rest of my life with, and have kids with and have a family and a partnership with, if I can't find that, I'm not going to just settle for anyone and be in something where I'm not happy, because that's not worth it to like live the rest of my life like that. And this one experience gave me all of that insight. And without it, I would not have had this perspective of really being able to set my boundaries and putting myself first, because I felt the moment that I felt unsafe in a connection, that's when I started to scramble. That's when I started to overgive. That's when I started to not be able to receive. And that was mirrored back to me in a way where, well, I don't like you. I'm not interested in you. I'm sorry. And I just couldn't handle that. You know what I mean? And like that really broke me down. But I think I needed to go through that because, first of all, my ego was out of whack, okay? I had to get an ego check because that was another thing. And then also, you have to realize, even if the person is like the love of your life, sometimes people just don't want to stay. People will leave. People will leave for their own growth, for their own healing. Sometimes people have to honestly heal, or not heal, but grow with other people. Sometimes people need to heal alone. Sometimes people have to go through, like, sometimes like the person that you're with can't really continue to grow or heal or change with you. They have to do it with someone else or by themselves. And to get to a point where you're not affected by that, even if you have the strongest connection with them, I feel like is such a huge thing. And I don't even know how to get to that point just yet. I mean, I feel like I'm getting there in real time. I probably just can't see it. But I've been able to like detach myself from that situation, not take it as personally, which I wasn't able to do before. And so when you stop taking things personally and realize what it is for the bigger picture, you're not going to be as attached to a person leaving you. Like, once a person says that they want to leave you, it's not a good idea to beg. And I understand, like, that's our first inclination to do that, but they're doing it for themselves, and they're also probably doing it for you too, because I mean, it's sort of like a blessing in a way if someone wants to leave. And sometimes people come back as well, right? But you really have to put yourself first and like see if that's a situation that is going to be beneficial for you in the long run. And you really have to just choose yourself. That's all I can really say about it. Yeah, you don't want to shut yourself out because you want to keep someone or you want to make someone stay, right? You want to be able to, you know, love yourself enough every single time to where if someone happens to leave you, if you happen to get abandoned, if that triggers your abandonment wound, that's something that you really, really need to heal, because that cycle will keep repeating itself with future connections, future relationships, something that you probably don't want to go through over and over and over again with different cycles. Like, you really have to spend that time on your own. I feel like that's really the only way to be able to heal that, is spending more time with yourself and learning to love that time with yourself. And I'm still learning that right now. I'm taking myself to a concert soon. I've always wanted to go to concerts with people, with friends, with a significant other, right? But I can't always rely on that, because honestly, people aren't permanent. And I know I was told by Michelle, and she had the best quote, or this is from her, but she said, "You are the realest thing in your life." And when she said that, I was like, wow, it's true, because, you know, you honestly can leave yourself, but you can always come back to yourself. And you can rely on that. You can come back to yourself. It's possible. But a lot of the times with external things, sometimes you can't get that stuff back. Sometimes it doesn't come back. And you have to learn how to deal with that. And it no longer becomes your reality when it's not in your life anymore. And you kind of have to also understand that, like, when you're living in the past and when you're living in the future, you're not living in the present, you're gonna go crazy. And I was doing that to myself. I had all these what ifs. I had all of these like thoughts about, like, what did I do? Like, what is wrong with me? And I'm trying to like shift that perspective and shift those thoughts of myself that were so mean to me, to myself. I'm still trying to shift that to this day, but it's definitely getting better than how it was before, because I don't even know how I was thinking that. And during the like coaching session, I know that Michelle had told me to put a reminder in my phone, and the reminder for me right now personally is you are safe, because there were moments where I just didn't feel safe in connections. Like, I mean, physically, if I felt threatened in a connection, and for me, feeling threatened is not being chosen and someone choosing someone else over me, like that had always been a fear of mine, right? And like when I started to feel that, even before stuff like that happened, and usually like when I feel those things, they do happen, and it happened, right? But when I started to feel that, that's when I started to panic, and like physically my heart would drop, physically I would feel this weird feeling in my stomach and my heart at the same time, and like I would feel very anxious, and that kind of triggered me not being able to eat and not really being able to sleep. And then there were moments where all I wanted to do was sleep so I wouldn't be able to face reality. And then when I wake up again, I remembered, okay, I'm back here again, you know, and like I can't go back to how things were. I kept wanting to go back to how things were, and I kept wanting to hold on and hang on really, 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 really tight, right? And when I realized I couldn't, the only other choice I had was to come back to myself. And there's this thing where I'm constantly having to remind myself to do that, and that I'm safe to come back to myself every single time. Because like my coping mechanism is to distract myself is to do it through other people, through other connections, so that I feel safe. But you're not safe in those other connections that you want to run and hide. Camera cut off. But I learned that you're not safe in those other connections that you want to run and hide to, because, and a lot of people do this, a lot of people go into different connections unhealed, hurt still, without even realizing it. And it's really not anyone's fault, but you do have a responsibility when it comes to getting into something and hurting someone else and knowing that you're unhealed. And consistently doing that. And we all do it. I've done it, obviously. Even in this past thing, I'm sure that I did that, and I'm sure that the other person did that as well, right? But it really did teach me through all these other connections that I've been in, is that either people are not ready, or they want to be in something so bad just to help heal themselves and to feel safe, when the only person that you can really feel safe with is yourself. And that's why people put in their all and their everything into these relationships, which is, it's cool that you can do that, and it's good to put effort in. But like when you're giving everything, like every single ounce of what you have to someone else and not to yourself, and when that person leaves you, when or if that person leaves, whether they're no longer on this earth, or they want to leave you for someone else, or they just want to leave in general, what are you really left with? And all you're left with is to figure out a way to go back to yourself and to be present with yourself. And that is one of the hardest things to do when you've given everything. And you can't enter a relationship where that's all you know how to do, and you can't give to yourself. And if you find yourself doing that, really question, what your intentions are with that person, and also with yourself, and what you would do. Think about it. What would you do if you weren't with that person anymore? How would you feel? And if you can say that you can't live without that person, people say that all the time in movies, you know, like I hear that all the time. It's like a fairy tale type of answer, but like it's not realistic. I'm not saying it's not realistic. What I'm trying to say is that it's not healthy. It's not healthy. It's toxic. No matter how passionate, no matter how loving it sounds, like you're literally just abandoning yourself at that point, because you're not able to live for yourself. And in any moment that you don't have that person anymore, it's like you're not doing yourself any justice. You're just gonna leave, and that inner you is just like, well, what are you doing? Like, I thought you were with me this whole time, you know, like you really have to be whole within yourself to be with another person. And I think a lot of us are walking around on this earth where we're just not whole yet. And you don't have to be completely healed to be with someone, because no one's completely healed, but there's a range, and I feel like there is that point where there are a lot of people that are in relationships for the wrong reasons, and just because they might be enamored with someone, or they feel a little something, it's enough. And honestly, it's not enough. Like, people need to be having more of these conversations. I mean, especially if they are long-term relationships, as to why they're together, and like boundaries, and talked about codependency, if you feel like you're being codependent with your person, and how that would feel if you were to split one day, you know. I've never been a person that's felt free enough to let someone go, and I think I have to grow into that person, because it's literally to protect myself. And I'm not saying to always have one foot in, one foot out the door. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying to be whole within yourself enough to the point where if someone wants to leave, you love them enough to let them go. It's unconditional. Conditional is where you tell this person, you can't leave me. Because if you leave me, I'm going to be feeling this. But when in reality, no one should be making you feel any type of way. And that's easy to say. We're all human beings, so of course we're going to feel something, but you have to learn to not hold on to people like that, and to put yourself first. And that's the hard truth. Like, it really is. It really is. So having that free type of love, though, that where it's like you both choose each other and you're whole within yourselves, is something that I would love to look forward to. I don't even know what that's like yet, or I don't even know if there's a person out there like that, or if someone is, you know, going to heal themselves to be that way enough, because I've been coming across so many people that honestly aren't at that place, and I know that because I'm not at that place just yet. So the last thing I kind of wanted to say was that I was spending all of this time blaming other people for being emotionally unavailable. And I was like, why do I keep coming across people that are like this? Like, this is ridiculous, you know? And then when I found out that I was emotionally unavailable to myself, I'm like, I shouldn't be blaming other people. Like, I gotta be going within first, and then I'll attract what I want afterwards, you know? Yeah, a lot better. The situation did hurt. It was sad, but like, I feel maybe that was honestly supposed to happen, I guess, so that I could grow and have the knowledge that I have now, and really just learn to love myself, and that will help me shine way brighter than before. And hopefully from here on out I can help other people through their journeys, because it's something that I've been really dealing with for a while now, and I just didn't feel comfortable coming on this platform and talking about it, because I didn't even know how I was going to say it. I hope this made sense. I hope this helped everyone, or anyone that's watching, because yeah, that is what was going on. I'm gonna film another hair video, and I'm gonna post this one tonight for you guys. I probably should have filmed this way earlier, but I just didn't feel like it today. I do want to start making more videos like this, maybe more videos about self-help and about my journey when it comes to just me building my confidence and really learning to love myself and getting to know myself more and grow. I forgot what I was saying, but my camera stopped. Yeah, I want to make more content, maybe like around this type of stuff. And hopefully I can help you guys. Because, you know, what I've been going through, I know others are going through it too, but this has been super eye-opening for me. I think this made me grow up so much faster, because I think I was just being really childish before. Like, I had no idea what I was doing when it came to relationships, like at all. But yeah, I think I have more insight now, which is cool, I guess. And I'm having a lot more fun, and I'm more content by myself. Like, I'm actually doing stuff that makes me happy right now, and I couldn't do that for a while. I really couldn't. I was trying to find any escape I could, and it wasn't working. So it made sense, because I know even Michelle was just saying too, like, you can't really think your way there. It's more so about how you feel and feeling it and just being in that state. And I didn't understand it, and because it was just frustrating to me why I couldn't get there, you know, like why, even like now, like in the process of getting there, I'm starting to feel it more rather than like think my way there, and not spend so much time pressuring myself into being something that I haven't grown into just yet. You know, like, I will get there. It's just gonna continue to take time, and I really just had to grow up. Anyways, let me know what other videos y'all want me to make in the future. This is my new apartment, but there's really no furniture right now, so I can't really do an apartment tour just yet. I just moved here like on Saturday, so yeah, thanks for watching. I hope that you guys are doing well. I really missed all of you, and I'm so happy that a lot of you guys are still here and watching, because I just needed that time. That's literally it. And I wasn't gonna post when I wasn't ready, at least personal content. So I'm back. Okay, all right, bye.